Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy Monday. Um, Sorry we missed you Thursday night. That was on me. Had a bit of a family emergency within minutes of AJ and I setting up the podcast. Everything's all good. Don't necessarily want to call it an emergency. But at 9:57, I texted him and said, "Be there in a few." And at 10:05, said, "Gonna have to cancel for tonight." So it was a very quick turnaround. So as always, appreciate your graciousness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Shit happens. We all get
yep,
that.
yep.
So
So yeah, it was an interesting turn of events. But
we're
yes, we're
just
here now.
glad everything's all right.
Yep, of course. But yeah, so yeah, here now watching some football today. Doing our recap. We got our usual Sunday night, Monday morning type episode, which is going to be college football and cat digging in a bag behind me, and college football recap, talking about the college football playoff picture, and then some NFL news. Um, so yeah, good solid football weekend.
Yeah, it was a great football weekend. Championship weekend for college football. We finally got a bracket set in stone. I'll just read through the rankings real quick. Top four seeds in order: Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, Arizona State, and then the rest of them. Clemson 12 goes to Texas, number 5. Tennessee 9 goes to Ohio State, number 8. Number 11 SMU goes to number 6 Penn State. Let's go. We got a home game. And number 10 Indiana travels to South Bend. Number 7 Notre Dame. So
I'm glad you worded it that way because I was just about to ask: Are these played on neutral sites or are they in home? Like, are these in home field advantages and
yes,
such? So
yes.
okay,
So
that's
they
cool. Oh
go.
yeah, duh, because the Penn State game, duh.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So the
yeah, we'll throw
first
that
two
in there for the.
rounds, the first two rounds are all at the higher seeds location or the lower seeds
Oh, and then
location.
it goes to neutral sites. That's yeah, duh.
Yeah,
Because then the championship is always somewhere else, kind of like the Super Bowl. Is it always in
yeah.
one place or does it rotate?
No, they go to bowl games after that, so it rotates through a few bowl games, but not many. It's like the Peach Bowl,
The Rose
the
Bowl,
Rose Bowl,
Citrus or whatever,
yeah,
whatever.
the
Yeah, those are just basically the nicknames
Cotton Bowl.
for
Yeah,
AFC Championship, NFC Championship,
yeah,
Super
yeah.
Bowl, but then they
They
rotate.
they're
But
trying to
it's
they're trying to still give the
the
history of
sponsorships
the
and the
bowl
money.
game,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
to
I feel
the
like they should just if they could
company.
just make my brain happy and assign it. Like the Peach
Right.
Bowl is always the one seed or the higher seed or whatever. Like make it like an
Yeah.
AFC NFC type deal, or I don't know, just mimic the college to the NFL.
I
Yeah, no,
I
this
definitely
was
get where you're coming from, but
man,
also
this
it allows them a little wiggle room to help schools out with travel and stuff like that. Um,
yeah, I guess that's true.
like like for instance, if you have the Rose Bowl, you can send Oregon to the Rose Bowl instead of sending them the whole way to Florida to play in the Citrus Bowl or whatever it is,
Yeah, I
or
guess
like
that's true.
Georgia or whatever. Because also, like
Yeah, see,
imagine
for me, like that's like, I mean, imagine being an NFL team, being like, we don't really want to win the Super Bowl this year, so we're going to go down to New Orleans. That's a far drive. Like, fucking
that's
win, make the flight. Like, that's the point. Like,
sure that's a lot
so like,
different
yeah.
though than a school trying to save the money.
Well, what school needs to save the money? None of
You
these schools need to save the money.
you think
All,
SMU has
all,
the budget? Really?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Not a
so.
chance.
If they're making it to this point, I think that they can afford to. Well, then I mean, like, don't participate. Then if you can't afford to,
Don't
don't go out to eat.
participate.
Like, yeah, like what are you doing here? Like, if you're like, yeah, we're a really good football team, but like we can't afford a bus to get there. Anybody can someone pick us up? Like that's crazy. Like you guys, like that's great. You're a good football team, but you need a bus first.
But also, how unfair would it be for whoever wins Indiana Notre Dame, let's say, has to go to Georgia and they play in Atlanta because they're assigned to the Peach Bowl?
I mean, again, though, see, I feel like it's still like, but
Or
that like
technically, that would be the next round. The semifinals would be the Peach
But
Bowl. But
regardless, that would be like Georgia would have to be like we specifically want to get the 2 or the 4 seed in order to end up in
sure,
the
it's
Peach Bowl. If we
completely
end up
luck.
1 and 3,
Absolutely.
right? Like that's like for this. So again, just like the Super Bowl, if the Saints were good this year, it's not like the NFL is gonna be like, oh well, it's in New Orleans, we can't give them home field advantage. Like no, they're gonna get to do that. Like it's happened now twice, so like it's gonna happen. So,
Like when the
but
Buccaneers won it in their stadium, but they had to be
yep.
in the away team locker
And then
rooms.
and then the Rams played at home too. I believe they lost theirs. I
Yeah.
believe they lost theirs, but
Yeah,
the
they
Bucks were
did
the
to the
one to win
Chiefs.
at home. Of course, Brady winning at home in the Buck Stadium at home. But yeah, like
Hmm.
you said, away in the away lockers. Like what a weird scenario.
Yeah.
See that I like. Like that's an obscure rule that I'm glad that they were like, well, technically you guys are the
Away
away
team.
team. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like that's perfect. I like that. Like that's some silly shit where it's like that's doable though. Like, why not?
Yeah, imagine having to take all your shit out of your locker room
But
over
that was
to
the
the
other
other
part where
end
I
of
was
the
like, yeah,
stadium.
I don't like that either though, because like I'm someone who like I don't want somebody in my spot. Like, don't touch my
Right.
stuff. Like, I don't want you on my things. And so
It's
then it'd be
also
like, yeah,
crazy
the other
because like
team.
I just recently started like really following a lot of the Eagles stuff on social media, and like a lot of times they'll show the players' lockers, and they are trashed lockers. Like
Yes,
some of
just
these
so much
guys, and like, look, I
shit.
get it,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand
yeah.
everybody's
This,
like this,
yeah.
but yeah, they just have like
It's you
boxes
have
of
that
stuff.
perception of like these guys are clean cut robots. Everything
Right?
is organized and in drawers, and they're labeled with label makers. And the NFL has employees that do it, and it's like, nah, these are just dudes with a locker and
Yeah.
they're going to work and they're just throwing shit and where like
Yep.
can't wait to fuck clock out, go home. Like
Yeah.
yeah, like some of these dudes. That was one of the craziest things I've heard like on a podcast in the last couple of years. That like when they said it, and it just like catches you off guard. But they were like, there is absolutely NFL players that have no dream of being the best, have no dream of making a Super Bowl. Like they legitimately saw this as an opportunity to make some money and then retire and be done. And they do that. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
little more rare, obviously, because it takes some drive and some real
Right.
luck and some dedication to get to that point. But like people do this as a job, just like a doctor goes to school for that long to become a job. Like it's the same kind of mentality where like you're devoting a lot of time and effort to this, but like you might not really love what you do. But like for us, it's like it's just such a dream to do. So it's like, how could you not love playing football?
Right.
Like that just doesn't make sense. Like
Yeah.
you're telling me that Patrick Holmes is out here just like straight. Like Kawhi Leonard is the one I always think of. Like he's so
Right.
good, and he's just like, I want to go home. And like Jokic is like, I just want to go play with my horses. Like it's like, dude, like you're balling right now. Like have some fun. Like that looks so
Yeah.
exciting.
For
But
sure.
anyway, but yeah, so yeah, these are super exciting matchups. Like this was one of the ones where like I was out in this weekend. I was watching the games. I was telling like I was with Kaylee and Ray. Like we were out and doing stuff with the girls. And I was like, I got to be home to like watch football at 4 and 8. And I was like, I want to catch Texas and Georgia. And I was like, I want to watch Penn State game. And
Yeah.
yeah, I was
Both good games.
yeah, and I was pulling for Penn State. And yeah, they just like they could not keep up with Oregon late. Like Oregon, it just has like a pro style offense. He
Yeah.
just kept scoring, and it's like it's that thing I always mention where it's like in Madden, you're trying so hard and you're leaning forward and you spend 8 minutes going down the field, little by like 6 yard plays, 2 yard plays, just trying to get a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then they just throw one lucky pass to score a touchdown. You're like, dog, I gotta fucking like do it again. Like, and you're just in that fight the whole time. You eventually just run out of steam. And like
Yeah.
that was like Penn State just got down early, couldn't catch up, and then yeah, so. But yeah, I'm excited for this. They have a bye week, right? So there's nothing going on this weekend. It'll
Correct.
be the following weekend.
Yeah.
So no, nothing going on. But,
Yeah. They're this weekend should be Army Navy.
yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the standalone game. So
And like you have your note in here. Glad to see no 3 loss teams in. Of course, with the exception of Clemson because they won the ACC.
right.
I just hate like the little love triangle there where it's like, okay, well then that weakens SMU because the ACC is then considered bad because their 3 loss team is their best team. So then like, why is Alabama discounted with having 3 losses? Like, that's the best argument that I've seen where it's like, why would Bama not get in over SMU? But then like everyone's counter argument was like, thank God they didn't put Bama in. Like, just give us a year without it.
Yeah.
And also SMU didn't get discredited for playing in their bowl game. Like
Right.
they didn't get discredited. So like I agree with that. But when you just look at records and stuff at the end, like Alabama had 3 losses, but they're a clear better team than Clemson, but not technically SMU. So like, yeah, I mean, I have no problem with how it played out. Like I'm not
Same.
upset at how it played out. Like I think it's cool. Like I just like. And that's like, there's always gonna be someone on the outside looking in. Like, well,
For
what
sure.
about like Miami had a good case for
Yeah.
it? Like yeah. So it's always gonna be something.
Especially
so,
with the 4 automatic bids for your conference champions.
I really hope they unlock those, like you said, that it just becomes you're in, but like your seeding falls where your seeding falls. Like,
Yeah.
you're in
So
the
for
playoff.
everybody, we had a conversation beforehand.
Was that off air?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was off air. You're right.
Yeah, about how we wish it was like, for instance, Arizona State should not be the 4 seed.
It's great that they got locked in as a
Right.
conference champion, but don't do that to them. Like,
Right.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
silly to put
look,
them in that
you
spot.
can. I'm even fine if you say we're gonna lock you into the top 7 to give you a home playoff game. That's perfectly fine with me.
Yeah.
Or top 8,
honestly.
sorry.
Yeah.
But like to say you get a first round bye just because you won your conference championship and you're better than one of the other conference champions, it just seems weird to me. Like, I'm not here for it, basically.
Yeah, no, yeah,
So
you screwed me up with the top 8 thing. So I was like, wait, how does that work? But then, yeah, you're right because it's four. There's 4 of them have a bye, so
right.
8 out of 60. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All
So
checks out. All checks
yeah.
out.
So then you're still getting the top 4 seeds are still the top 4
The
teams
best
in the
4
nation.
teams. Yeah, yeah, and I
Right.
think that makes sense too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, 'cause like you said, like we had talked about this off air that like Texas does kind of have a better perspective now that they're playing a weak Clemson team. Then they play Arizona State, whereas Oregon is just waiting for the winner of Tennessee and Ohio State, which is a dog fight. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to be Oregon waiting for that. I mean, you don't want
Right.
to play Oregon, but that's just a worst case scenario than Texas getting a win against Clemson, getting hot, and then you got to go play Arizona State. Like
Yeah.
that's yeah, that's a walk in the
Yeah.
park essentially
The
for them, or should be a walk in the park.
the flip side of that argument about reseeding basically and all that stuff and like they just get in is that the NFL does it too.
That's true. I was just
Conference,
looking at
the division
standings. Yeah,
winners,
yep.
they
I
get a
was
home game
just
in the
looking at that.
playoffs.
Yep.
So
When you're looking at the AFC, it's number 1 Chiefs, number 2 Bills, number 3 Steelers, number 5 Chargers, number 4 Texans. Like that's how the win
yeah,
loss works out
right.
because the Steelers are or the Chargers are or the Texans are a division winner, but they don't have as many wins as the Chargers. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so they're 4th, but they're not on there in the win column. But
Yeah, so I get it. You're never gonna have it perfect, and somebody's gonna complain every time.
yeah,
So it is what
I'm
it
not.
is.
I'm excited. I'm with it. I'm not mad. Bama's
For
out. If
sure.
Bama would have got in and SMU would have been out, I wouldn't have been mad. Like
Yeah,
that for me was like a split argument where it was like both make sense. They got to make a decision though. Somebody's got to be out. So
yeah.
but yeah, so yeah, we'll take it.
For what it's worth, Michigan does get to play Bama New Year's Eve. I forget the Reality Bowl or something like that. Realty, I forget what it is. Um, but yeah, New Year's Eve game. So I guess good for them. um,
Yeah, we talked about
Michigan,
that off air. I feel like
yeah,
Michigan's gonna get killed, but it's cool to see them in there. They make
yeah. I mean, I guess that's their reward for beating Ohio State. Is you
you
get
get a
a New
bowl
Year's
game.
Eve bowl game. So cool for them. Good experience for all of them. They all need it. So come back next year. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have. There's definitely some other stuff in college football. Don't really need to touch on it though. We can talk about that another time because there's a long off season ahead of us.
Yeah, for sure. I was just looking to see when the games were. And I know they're like right around New Year's Day ish.
Yeah, they should be. That should be. The first round is the 20th and 21st, and then the second round should be the 27th, 28th, and then the following weekend should be the semifinals.
Yeah. So just weekend after weekend. Cool.
Yeah, and then
Is there any more bye weeks after this bye week, or is there another one in between?
I believe there's one between the semifinals and the national championship, but don't hold me to that. I don't know the schedule all that well.
Alrighty, well, yeah, jumping right into some NFL stuff. Fun Sunday. Right now we are at 10 minutes to go, third quarter. Chiefs are up 13-0 on the Chargers. So we're watching Sunday Night Football. We'll touch a little bit more on that as we get some more info on the game, see how it plays out. But the NSYNC bye. Teams of the week: Ravens, Broncos, Texans, Colts, Patriots, Commanders. Broncos are in a weird spot where I don't know how to feel still. We're 2 games in. We're still in the 7th spot. Like, we're sitting comfortable. We're in charge of our destiny, but I don't like that we are. So we'll see how it is. But yeah, it was nice for them to not play today. So it was a nice day. I made Christmas cookies with the family today, but got to watch football. Had it on both TVs. Let them watch their Christmas movie, but the other 2 TVs were mine, so I was kind of watching and keeping up.
Nice.
But yeah, so we had talked about it that we missed Thursday night. That was my fault. We had missed Thursday night unexpectedly, but Packers Lions was a great game.
Was a great game.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game. Lions come out on top. They're so good. Like, they just have such a good offense. Like, they're just so good.
They definitely do. I mean, look, there's a reason they're 12-1. Like, you can't argue the record. And I don't know. I heard this argument a lot with the fourth down. You go with what got you here, but also, like, is it necessary? I don't know.
It worked.
It did. So it's definitely one of those things that if you go for it and you don't get it, you're a nobody.
Yeah.
But you got it, so
Yeah.
you're a hero. So
Yep. Yeah. I've always been like, I hate that there's that stigma attached to it because it's like no one puts any more emphasis on other ones. Like, if you pass on third, like, like Pete Carroll making the decision to throw instead of run to Marshawn, throwing a pick in the one, like that kind of thing. Like he
Yeah.
gets brutalized for that decision constantly. There's commercials and TV shows and like skits made about it. Like it's an awful decision that will be forever
Yeah.
glamorized for being notorious. So like those things rarely happen. So I feel like I hate that there's such a stigma for it down because I feel like it's such like a old corporate white guy mad that this my game is changing thing where it's like you can't go for a fourth down, you're just not supposed to. As you put in here in your note, fourth down, do you go for it or not? That's a terrible question to ask me because I grew up playing Madden. I'm always gonna go for it. Do I want 4 tries to get a first down or 3 tries to get a first down? Like I don't care if
Okay.
I'm in my own red zone. Like I don't care. Like I'm going for it. And so like if I'm Dan Campbell and I have that offense and I trust my defense, the first time felt crazy, but it was like fuck it. Like make the stadium go wild. Like get some momentum. Like go for this shit. Like why not? But like they didn't get it. So like that was like all right. That could backfire. But the
It did
second time,
backfire.
yeah, very much so. Like backfire late in the game, I meant like that could greatly backfire where you guys end up losing this. But like
Yeah.
they stayed in control, and then going for it in the end, like I think it was brilliant. And it basically was him saying that like if we kick the field goal, I trust that like my defense is gonna stop them regardless. So like I might as well just try to get it. Like it's just let's just go and get it. Like why
I
not? Like
don't. I don't. I didn't read that the same way. I read it as we kick the field goal and give the ball back with like what 40 seconds or something. That we don't trust our defense to stop them.
see,
So
I
let's
didn't think
just
that they
finish it
felt
on
like they were gonna
offense.
score. Like I felt like yeah, because that's like if you kick the field goal and you have 34-31, like the chances are they're going to get in field goal range and kick the field goal. So then like you're saying, okay, yeah, if we go to overtime, I'm comfortable with that too. Like that was how I read it. Was Dan Campbell saying, if I don't get this, we could end up tied and go into overtime, and I'm okay with that. But if we get it right now, game's over. Fuck it, we win. So like that was like how I read it, where it's like an aggressive Dan Campbell playing the math of it, where it's like chances are they're going to aim for a field goal to try to send it to overtime as well. If we get to overtime, I trust my defense. I trust our offense to score, and then it's over for them. But I mean, either
Yeah.
way, yeah, it worked. Lions win. Then one loss on the season. I feel good about my Super Bowl pick from the NFC, but not so good about the AFC one as the Ravens are struggling. But
Yeah. I mean, they're not out of it though. So
for sure, yeah,
you just touched on it here. There's quite a few teams got mathematically eliminated
oh yeah,
this week. I'll just run through them. AFC eliminations: Cleveland Browns, Jacksonville Jaguars, New York Jets, Tennessee Titans, New England Patriots, Las Vegas Raiders. NFC eliminations: the New York Giants. Now there are a lot of teams that are like you're not going to make it, but you're not mathematically eliminated yet.
yeah. Like the
Um,
Bengals, I saw that they didn't have the E next to them, and I was like, guys, seriously. But it's like, I mean, if they win out and the Broncos lose out and the Colts lose a couple, like it's
yeah, it's
impossible. But it's just
right.
so
It's
yeah,
one of
it's one
those
of those
things that you're going to
doomsday.
need a
Yeah,
lot of help,
yeah.
but
Well,
it's
yeah,
not
almost.
mathematically eliminated.
All right.
So
Oh, Chargers scored. Love that. All right. But yeah, so yeah, like you said, yeah, running through all of those. Did you touch on the NFC ones?
I did. I just talked about the eliminated teams though. So
That's right. Yeah, yeah,
um,
no big deal.
yeah, there are a
Um,
couple that clinched playoffs, some divisions.
yeah.
Chiefs.
Bills.
Actually, the Chiefs didn't. The Bills did, right?
The Bills
Bills
clinched
clinched
the
the
division.
division.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep. Chiefs clinched their playoff spot though. Like, they're
yeah.
definitely gonna be in. So.
And like, man, the race for the one seed in the NFC is wild. Like, you got three
Eagles, the
teams.
Lions, yeah, the
Yeah,
Vikings. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
yeah. The Packers unfortunately kind of fall out of it with losing to the Lions, but you gotta be that's gotta be maddening if you're a Lions fan. You're having the best season ever for that franchise,
And the
and
Eagles
you
catch
could
wind, and it's
well not only that, but you lose one game, and you're now tied with
yeah,
the
you
Vikings, and now
yeah,
you're a
you're in the
wild
five
card.
seed. Yeah, you lose
Yeah,
a 5 seed. Yeah, that would definitely suck too. Yeah, that's a very good
yeah.
point.
And they do play each other in the last week of the season. So
I love that the NFL I made like the last week the division. That was like one of the best schedule changes
yeah,
ever. I've said that before, but like yeah, I stand by that. I love that they were like, you know what, maybe we should just force people to play teams that matter at the last week. Like that was
yeah,
just much more like even the spoilers are much more willing to be like, no, fuck that, let's ruin their season. They were dicks earlier in the year.
yeah. So that's definitely exciting. And like, look, next week the Lions have the Bills. Um, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but like, are the Bills angry? Can they?
Yeah,
I talk about this a lot. Can you get up to that energy level again? To that
after a
you
big
took
game.
to put up what did they put up
42, yeah,
42?
losing
Yeah,
44-42 is crazy. That's a
yeah.
big game.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be great. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I was a huge Packers fan this weekend. It didn't work. I'm gonna be a
Didn't work.
huge Bills fan this weekend. God, I hope it works.
Is it in
We'll see.
Buffalo or is it in Detroit?
It's in Detroit, yeah.
Mm, mm.
So
I mean, it's a dome, but yeah, still.
yeah. Anyways, moving on to today's games. I don't really. Okay,
Skip.
Jaguar. Yeah, skip.
Skip.
Jaguars 10, Titans 6. I guess somebody had to win, but you're both eliminated. So
Yeah.
I honestly feel like the Titans got the better end of this deal because they're gonna get a better draft pick. But
Facts. Yeah, it's the Jaguars win, but at what cost? Kind of
yeah,
thing. Yeah. Both these teams are playing for. Hey, look at the team we have for their new coaches or their new whatever's. Like, it's
yeah,
just nobody's doing anything special there.
yeah.
So, on another one that was also still kind of shit was Jets at Dolphins, and then all of a sudden it got exciting.
The score was at least more exciting. Yeah,
yeah, the score got exciting, but then it was like, wait, what am I watching again? Like,
Yeah.
who cares? The Jets, if they could have just held on and won, they could have been much less likely to be mathematically eliminated. They'd have been in that weird Bengals situation where it's like very, very unlikely, but kind of possible. And instead, Aaron Rodgers' season's over. The Jets are eliminated, and so they're just very bad right now. Can't hold on to win. The Dolphins, as you have Dolphins in the playoffs, they're behind. They have Texans, 49ers, Browns, and Jets left on their schedule.
Yeah, there's they went
need
in
some
with
help,
like
though.
8.8% today. I think that number's up to like 12 something.
Yeah, they'll need
So
some help.
super unlikely, but like I guess if you're a Dolphins fan, it's like
They
maybe.
were a favorite. They were like
Maybe.
the top three. They should have been the top 3-4 seed. Like that was the anticipation going in that it was
Battling
Chiefs,
with the Bills
Ravens,
for the
Bills,
division,
and then
yeah.
Dolphins right there. Like they were going to be that better team. Definitely better than the Chargers. Definitely better than the Steelers. Definitely better than the Broncos. Like that was the expectation. And they just came out Tua throwing up gang signs and everybody else getting hurt. And then they just went like on a losing streak. But again, now they're just kind of fighting to stay alive. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean they get the win. They stay mathematically alive, and they, as you said, Jets mathematically eliminated. So Aaron Rodgers' season's over. Who knows if Devontae Adams stays next year? If Aaron Rodgers stays, they have Zach Wilson still. So like,
who's the head
Jets are
coach?
just
Like,
dumpster
who are you
fire of the
hiring?
Jets. Another exciting game. Score is a little less exciting in this one. That it didn't stay as close, but yeah, Falcons. At Vikings.
I thought the Falcons were going to be close. It was 21-21 at the fourth quarter.
I thought they were going to hang in. I was like, why are we not going to have this game? And then, Sam Darnold, 5 touchdowns, 3 to Jordan Addison and 2 to Justin Jefferson. So I think that was the second time that they had said that happened in franchise history where 2 players had 150 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's just like a crazy, crazy stat that
Sure.
Randy Moss and another receiver got on the same day. So
Right.
it's just the Vikings offense is really good too. Like they're just getting shadowed by how good the Lions offense is, and that is exciting because it's the Lions and they're never good, but right now they're both very, very good.
Right.
They happen to play in the same damn division. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
super unfortunate for the Vikings that they also play in the same division as the Lions.
That's it. Because again, this is one of those ones where if we didn't break up seeding and stuff, like they'd just be seeded 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing. The Eagles would be in there, but it's Lions, Vikings realistically 1, 2, 3 somewhere. So
yeah,
and instead one gets bumped to the wild.
Again, I say it all the time. Falcons, you had 3 turnovers. You just can't win football that way.
Yeah, Kirk.
So.
I feel like he's not usually
he had
like
2
that.
interceptions.
Check that. I'm just going off mental vibes right now. Where I'm like, I don't feel like Kirk is usually like a high interception quarterback. Like he's no Jameis, 30 a year. But like, I know he throws a few. But like he's more of a pocket passer. He's a little more precise, a little less errant with it. And so like I don't know necessarily if these are like dropped or tips, like kind of things that are turned into picks. Like that one game he had, I forget who they played last week or the week before. They had 4 interceptions. Like and still won that game though. But it's just like it's not gonna happen like that if they're getting those turnovers. That's one of your favorites, just winning the turnover battle.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's like 80% of the time you win the turnover battle, you win the game.
Yeah.
So
regardless of score, you're getting the dub if you just don't turn the ball over and you take it from them. It's just that's simple math. Like you're on it's gambling, however you want to look at it. Like you have a better chance. So
okay, so the real question is right now the Falcons sit as the number 9 seed, so they're on the outside looking into the playoffs, right? At 6 and 7, you're not mathematically eliminated. You're right on that cusp of like, few games go our way and we're in. Do you remaining schedule at Raiders versus the New York Giants, at Commanders versus Panthers?
This is the Falcons?
Yes. So like schedule seems favorable, right?
Hmm.
You, with the exception of the Commanders, I think you expect them to win all of those games. Maybe the
Yeah.
Panthers because they're playing well, but
Well, definitely
also
at home in Atlanta, and if they need it, like,
right. So I'm like, I'm really torn on do you move to Penix or not? The season's not over, so you can't just be like, oh, we're gonna, see what Penix has because there's nothing really to play for. But also,
yeah,
Kirk's not playing great
I
football.
yeah, I feel like I would stay with Kirk though, because you know he has great football in him. You don't know what Penix has yet, so if you put him in and you lose a game or two because he's just dog shit, like now your season's gone. Whereas if you
Right,
put,
but now you
I mean, but
know.
the same thing could happen with Kirk though too.
Yeah,
But yeah, I feel like then again, same thing though. Like then you know, like all right, Kirk ain't it. We need to work on Penix. Like he needs to start these last couple games for the season. Like let's get him some reps. Blah blah blah.
yeah,
But if Kirk wins the next two, he's been in the playoffs before. Like he's been around this. Like he's a vet. Like
for sure.
he's done the damn thing. So, not quite all the way, but he's done it in the playoffs. Like he can get there and he knows what he's doing. So yeah, I mean, I just felt like that was such a weird decision to begin with. I mean, it makes sense again, like to make Penix sit behind someone like that and learn.
Yeah,
Like it's that Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre kind of thing. Not
right.
quite Brett Favre and Kirk Cousins caliber, but still. But
I
yeah, I
don't
mean,
know that they're all that far off.
I don't know about that. I feel like Brett's got to be a few rungs higher. I guess it has to double check some stats. It might be perspective and just little kid nostalgia, but
Yeah,
we'll see. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Penix. I'm excited for him to play. I just hate that it means Kirk Cousins is going to not play in order for him to play because Kirk Cousins
I
is like
definitely
one of those
agree.
last of the dying breed that we have. He's like that. He's like that. The interim in between the Roethlisberger, Brady, Breeze, Manning era.
Yeah,
Like Kirk Cousins is that bridge quarterback. Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, like, and then it's all just new heads. It's
yeah.
all just new heads after that, which is just so crazy. So
Speaking of Derek Carr,
speaking of Derek Carr got
another
in a
game.
car accident today.
The game again that somebody had to win.
Yeah, all for
Saints win 14-11, blocking a
who
late
cares?
game time field goal by the Giants.
And the Saints are mathematically eliminated every other 5-8, and the Falcons and the Bucks don't want to win their division, so everybody's available to win. So
Yeah, I don't want to blame okay, it's not the field's fault that Carr jumped over trying to get a first down, but like it's just funny that it happened at MetLife because like MetLife.
it's always the field. It's
So
always
yeah,
the field, and then
right,
it's like not the field. But like technically, he did slam off of the field. So like
right.
maybe if it was softer, like I don't like it. Yeah, Derek Carr. Yeah, Saints down again. They're going to be down bad
Ooh,
because
the
they're going to have
PI
is it
call.
Spencer Rattler or Desmond Ritter. I always mix them up. No, Desmond Ritter is
Rattler, yeah.
Desmond Ritter is Cowboys. No, Raiders.
Raiders, I think.
Raiders. Yep, Desmond Ritter's the Raiders, and
Yeah.
then yes, Spencer Rattler is the Saints. Yeah, because every time I see that Rookie of the Year like passing graphic, it's like Bo Nix 2,800 yards, Jaden Daniels 2,700 yards, Drake May 1,500 yards, Spencer Rattler 412 yards. Like, it's like, dude, why are we even putting him in the graphic? Like you could have done top three and left him out of it. Like there's no reason to do
Yeah.
that to him. But yeah, so yeah, both these teams also bad. Like Saints and Giants don't have a lot that they're playing for right now. Saints
Right.
like they're trying to figure it out coaching
Again,
situation.
we
But
talked about this earlier. While the Saints may have won the game, I think the Giants won the
win,
war.
yeah, staying in
So,
last place. Yeah, the
yeah.
Giants want that pick. And I mean, the Raiders being 2-11, like that's crazy. Like, are they going for Shador? Like, what's the vibes for the Raiders? Like,
Well,
that's the
did
Tom Brady
you
connect.
did you see Shador posted he was in Vegas?
Ooh, I did not.
Yeah, he was in Vegas and posted something. He took a picture of the stadium and posted something
Interesting.
like Destiny or something like that. It was
I think
wild.
that's actually a
So
Twitter follow that I don't have. And I should
so
make sure I
it
do
was interesting.
that.
I'll
Yeah,
move
that's
along.
wild though.
We'll
Yeah.
travel down I-95 to the city of Philadelphia, where the Panthers came to town. Came up 81 to visit Philadelphia.
What a shitty drive.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they probably flew.
Yeah. Saquon breaks the franchise rushing record. Took it from LaShawn McCoy. So like, it's I don't know. There's a soft spot in my heart for Shady just because he's a local guy.
Facts.
And like he went to Philly out of Pitt, so
Out of
like
Harrisburg,
just
yeah.
just like a crazy cool story to be like, oh my god, like I've
Yeah.
seen this
Oh,
guy
that's
at the
the hometown
YMCA
hero
kind of
thing.
shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes,
Um,
yeah.
So, but Saquon comes in 4 games, breaks 4 games away from the end of the season, breaks the rushing record for the franchise, and he's 486 yards from Eric Dickerson's record.
125 yards a game is more than doable.
Yeah,
That is
121 an
very, very
average wins you.
doable. Yeah.
So, or wins the thing, and he rushed for 124 today. So,
Yeah, because he gets one like
It's
200 or 250 or something like that, and he's just going to be in a really, really good spot
right.
to have a couple of 80 or 90 yard
Yeah.
games and be done with it.
It's I think the trouble is going to come next week. So next week they go and play the Steelers. I don't I I think you can get 100 yards on them. I think 120 plus is going to be tough
Yeah,
to
especially
get on the
because
Steelers
they're a
defense.
team that Tomlin would be like, over my dead fucking body.
Right.
Are we letting
Cuz I
this
mean they're
fucking guy
fighting
run it?
too. Like look,
Yes,
they're
yeah,
leading their
yeah.
division. They're
That's
not
also
like
Steelers Eagles is always one of those games.
ooh, what a
What the
catch.
flex? Don't make me pull up your stats on the season. Is your first catch you held on to?
Yeah,
That's why he
right?
flexed. He said, "I held that shit, dude. Please let the Chargers win this fucking game." I
Yeah.
actually kind of want the Chiefs to win because that might give the Broncos end up being a better seed if we can outplay the Chargers. But at the same time, just no, I don't
Yeah.
want the Chiefs to win. I just want them to lose. Like the more they lose, the better.
Yeah, right. Sorry to interrupt, but it was a
Yeah, just
touchdown
got
by the
caught off guard.
Chargers.
Quentin Johnston
About to
got double
take the
shouldered.
lead?
Yeah,
Question mark.
yeah, extra point away. Hopefully.
Yeah. So yeah, Saquon breaks the record, 121 yards. Isn't all that crazy. But next week is going to be the
Yeah, yeah.
the deciding factor because after that we
Tomlin.
play the Commanders, the Cowboys, and the Giants. So like
Cowboy, oh yeah, the Giants could be the
having the
80-yard rushing game.
right, but
Jesus
also we
Christ.
could be playing with for nothing. So that was the
That's true.
question
You're
this week
locked in
is
it, too.
right
Well, see, I
if
feel
we're
like you
locked in
won't
it.
be, though. I feel like you won't be because the Vikings are still going to be there too. Like you're going to be playing for something, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3. I feel like every one of those spots is gonna matter.
Right, but
so like,
okay. So here's the question, and this is a very tough question. Is so let's say going into because they play each other in the last week, right? So there's a potential that they're going into the last seed where 1, 2, 3, and if the Vikings win, we would go to 1, assuming we beat the Giants. But also if the Lions win and the games are at the same time. So do you go for it or do you just accept the 2 seed?
well, that's what I
You're
mean.
winning
Like,
your
'cause
division, so you're guaranteed the 2 seed.
it's much more NBA to do this, but you know that teams have to take it into consideration in the NFL. But like, who are you playing? Like that also is going to matter too. The 2
Sure.
or 3 seed or who's at 6 and 7. Like I know you guys love your 49ers. Like if they fuck around, like that's just one that like most Philly fans are like, yeah, fuck the 49ers, but please don't let us fucking run into them again. Even though we might win, that's a tough game. Don't let y'all run into the Bucks. Like the Bucks always have your numbers. Like that's when we're
You're
like,
not
yeah,
wrong.
if you guys, if you
But
get
the
a 2
Buccaneers,
seed,
if the Buccaneers get in, they're probably going to be winning their division. So then we want to play
true.
them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, that's true. I'm just saying, like, in that perspective of like, what teams are you going to play? Again, NBA teams do that a lot more
Right,
because it's
yeah.
a series where they're like, oh, this we want that over 7 games.
Yeah.
Than this, like, it's not just a toss up over 1 game. But yeah, I mean that's Regardless, though, that's it's tough to tell because we need probably another week or 2 before you can say no, they're going to
No, for sure.
or is he going to rush? Because also if he gets like 60 yards this week, like it's probably pretty out of the gate. Like if he just rushes a
Right.
little bit and like. They start throwing the ball a little bit, getting everybody else involved, and he has a light game, or if they're not needed that game, it's going to kind of put it out of touch because he's just not the kind of guy that's like, no, I need the ball for 200 yards the next
Right.
2 games in a row. Like, it's just not going to happen that way.
And he's been this way all season. He definitely has his eyes on the Super Bowl. He's not caring about the rushing records because like there was earlier this season he could have broke his own all-time record.
New York.
Yeah, in New York, and he's like, nah, let the other guys run.
Yeah.
And like that could be the difference between him breaking the season record and not.
Yeah, because that
So-
right there, you have it as 486 yards. Like he could have got another 60 or 80 yards that game. And
Right.
now he'd be at 400. Now it's like, oh, you only need 100 a game. Like it's
Yeah.
just like the numbers just start swaying a
Right.
lot more when you're eating a little bit more of that chunk.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw, but the Eagles wide receivers after the game, I'm gonna say restless, but it's just like so unnecessary with the comments. I love AJ Brown, I really do. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he got caught with his pants down on this one because he was short with the press. Like, hey, what? How do you feel about not getting targets? Like, what needs to be fixed? He's like, passing sucks. Like just short one-word answers.
Yeah, it's kind of whining
And, like,
shit. And
yeah,
you always
and
want a
I get
little
it.
bit of a diva in your receiver.
Right,
like,
right.
you want a
I
little
100% get
TO,
it.
A little TO sprinkled in there, but
Yeah.
not a lot, not too much.
Right, and he is that, and he does his job.
And that,
But
you want to feed him the ball, but if
I
Saquon's
will say,
doing-
though,
yeah.
I will say though, the last time we played the Steelers was in the end zone after he caught his third touchdown. So
yeah, he might just be warming up for a fucking get right game.
right, yeah.
That could absolutely be. Because I mean, the Steelers do have a good defense in the box. Like they don't have the greatest secondary. Like they don't have any Legion of Boom type shit. Like
Right.
Minka Fitzpatrick's legit, but like like the JJ Watt.
Right, and like who are you gonna double? Are you gonna double Devontae or AJ? Take your pick. Because look,
tough.
if you
Devontae's just so fast. He's just
Yeah,
so fucking fast.
right.
He's just gonna get open.
and not only that, but like you double him, and then let's say you double AJ too. Oh, now you have a light box, and Saquon's gonna run all over you. Yeah, and like we don't have Dallas Goedert. He went to IR.
Truly is.
But like Grant Calcaterra is not like some slump tight end either.
Right.
So like, and then Jalen can run the ball himself. So even if Saquon's not, a lead back of Saquon as a fullback is wild. But yeah, speaking of the Steelers next week, Steelers pick up a win at home versus the Browns.
Browns haven't won. Oh yes, there we go. It's my PMT plug of the week. Do you know if you didn't listen to PMT? Do you know the last time that the Browns won in Pittsburgh?
The Browns.
Can you guess a quarterback in a year? This is the exact skit that Big Cat asked. He said, "Could you guys know?" And then I'll give you a hint. PFT just yelled out Baker, and he was like, "No." And he was like, "All right, if you guys could just guess a quarterback, I'll give you a hint on the year." Or vice versa.
I don't even know. They've had so many quarterbacks.
Tim Couch, 2003.
Wow.
The Browns have not won in Pittsburgh in 20 years.
I was going to say like the mid 2000s. Like if I was guessing, I would say like 2006 to 2008, somewhere in there.
It was one where I heard it and had to play it back to
21
hear it again.
years.
And it was one where I feel like no one else on there like appreciated the stat. Like Big Cat was excited about telling the stat. And everyone was just kind of like, wow. And then they were excited because one of like Hank guessed Tim Couch, and they were just like, oh, dude, he got it. And I think they were excited about that. But I just like thought about it for a second, and I was like, they play 2 games a year. Like they play 1 game a year in Pittsburgh.
Every year they have to play there.
21 fucking years. Like
yeah,
there could be a 20-year-old kid that lives in Pittsburgh or that lives in Pittsburgh that's a Cleveland fan and has just never gone to see his team win. Like that is fucking insane. Like that sucks.
Every
so
year
bad.
I go and we lose.
I'm
done going and then they win.
I'm done fucking going.
And then it's like, fuck, now I can't go the rest of my life.
23rd year that they finally win. But
yeah,
I saw it. I was like, that's crazy. I was like, 20 years in a row of losing in the same stadium is just gotta get fucking like anybody that has like management, trainers, staff, anybody, they're like, dude, we're going to fucking Pittsburgh this week. We're going to get murdered. Everyone's going to be in a bad fucking mood. It's a long bus ride. Like,
yeah,
that's crazy. But
then
anyway,
Jameis,
Steelers, they get their win. Go ahead, Jameis.
So Jameis throws 2 more interceptions. Does he need LASIK again? Like,
he is your like. He's gonna get it done. He's gonna put on a show. You're gonna lose the turnover battle. Like that you talked about it earlier. 80% of the time you win the game, you need to do your best to win all 20% of the 20% games. Like you need 100% of the 20% games. Like you cannot fumble a single of those 20% games. And they're just not a good team right now. And everyone felt like they were gonna be a great team with Deshaun Watson. They had all these pieces, and like they just aren't. Like they're just not a good team even without Deshaun Watson. I mean, I don't know that Jameis is the answer as much as I love watching him play, but. Yeah, they're just Browns as usual.
I don't even love watching him play. I just love listening to him talk because it's always gold.
I feel like I need to watch the plays to then get the full picture. Like I want to see how he played to understand. Like him saying like I need God to deliver me no more pick sixes. Like watching him throw 2 pick sixes in a game and then say that was like, oh, this is poetic justice. Like this is so funny. Like Jameis is the greatest person in the world. But
fair enough. So
another game.
4:00 games. Nope, there's one more 1:00 game.
Yeah, one more 1:00 game. Not too long on it though, really, because it's kind of the Raiders are out. They're limited, tied for last with the Giants in the league at 2-11. But they went into Tampa today and lost 28-13. Really just was not that exciting of a game. The Bucs have a pretty ecstatic offense right now. Jalen McMillan, I believe is his name, is their young receiver who could end up becoming the number 2 guy behind Mike Evans after this year. Godwin could end up leaving in free agency, so it would leave the door open for him to be there. He had 2 touchdowns today. Has had kind of a rough year before that so far. Hasn't put up like a ton of fantasy points or touchdowns or stats, but had a great day today. So again, against the Raiders, you don't want to take too much against it. But
I saw. Go ahead. I saw just a wild stat today on Baker. He's the only quarterback in the NFL to beat both the Eagles and the Lions this season.
Damn.
Yeah. So Like,
Man, that's what
for
I'm
what
saying. The
it's
Eagles,
worth,
he
is
has the
he?
Eagles number. Like Baker's just a dog when it comes to
Yeah,
playing teams that he shouldn't beat. He just gets everyone
right.
riled up, and it's just like, let's fucking get this shit. Like,
Yeah,
I'll put my head through
a whole
glass
crotch
frames when we
hold
get out
from
of
college.
here.
Yeah,
Literally, yeah.
comes out
Like, I
and
feel like he just gets in the huddle and knows like some Steve-O shit where he's like, what do you guys want to see me do to win this game? Like, I'll fucking jump off a building. I'll put my head through a window. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll ramp a Lambo into a lake. Like, what do you want me to see
right.
me do to win this game?
Yeah,
Also, AOC, O'Connell got injured today. I mean, yeah, the
yeah,
Raiders don't have to play for much. They don't really have a true starting quarterback right now. Gardner
right.
Minshew was a backup's backup, but he was their starter. So what do you call AOC at this point? But yeah, so O'Connell gets hurt, got his head smashed in, or his leg, got his leg
Yeah,
hit
his
on
leg. Yeah,
what was kind of like a late hit ish. But yeah, so yeah, Raiders are really bad, fighting for the Giants for the first pick at this point. So
right.
Shador, Travis Hunter, whoever gonna end up there. So poor guys.
Yeah,
But yeah, and then on to the 4 o'clock games. Had three of them here today.
yeah. Really, only one was exciting.
Yeah,
But we'll touch on the other two first. Seahawks traveled to Arizona to take on the Cardinals.
yeah,
Are you
that's it.
finally on board with the Seahawks?
No, I
The
feel like I
Seahawks
still
did
like
win
yeah,
30-18.
yeah. I feel
You're
like I
still
still
not. You're still not on board for the Seahawks to win the division.
they feel like the Broncos of the NFC. Like they're
Um,
winning games, but like they're not gonna do anything. Like, do you think the Seahawks are gonna beat the Lions, the
no, I
Eagles, the
didn't say that.
Vikings?
I said they're gonna win their division. That's it.
I think they'll
They're
win the
just gonna win the
division.
division.
I do think they'll win the
That's
division.
it.
Yeah, I don't know. But the 49ers are on the no,
So
49ers
the
beat the
49ers are on the
Bears.
Bears, so they're now tied.
Yeah,
Um,
they're tied.
no, the Seahawks have a 2-game lead.
I thought they had
Uh,
two games up
yeah.
on Cardinals and 49ers.
So, sorry, we're
Rams.
talking.
They have
I'm,
one
I'm
game
thinking
lead
of
of
the
the
other
Rams.
team that won today, which we'll get into in a minute. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, yeah. So the Seahawks beat the Cardinals. Get up. Still stay a game ahead of the Rams, and yeah, the Bears. I don't know what to say about them. Sorry, Bears. You got to be used to this at this point, right?
Yeah, it's just
You're just waiting to
they're
see who you're gonna hire for next year at this
yes,
point,
yeah.
and
It's
honestly, this is probably the best outcome. You get a better draft pick. So,
yeah, better draft pick, better coach, better quarterback, or not better quarterback. You have a good quarterback. You just get a good, better coach, better system. Like you just get
yeah,
it all figured out, and hopefully hire somebody legitimate.
yeah,
I've heard Shanahan as like Big Cat. He's a Bears fan, so that's one of his like prime picks. Is like the 49ers firing Shanahan or him quitting and coming there.
sure, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Unlikely.
Yeah,
But it was like if Christian retires and then Trent retires, it was just like if they fall apart and everything doesn't work out how it should, and he's just like, what the hell's going on here then?
yeah, I don't.
Vrabel and Belichick are the other two names, and then I also heard Nick Saban getting tossed out this weekend. He did mention something about Caleb Williams on
Yeah,
College Game Day Saturday morning, and so everyone was like, "Is Saban going to the Bears? Like that would be fucking crazy. Like Saban
yeah,
taking over there, like that would be kind of wild." So
it definitely would. I don't know. I just like I've heard this, and it's very clear over the past I don't know lifetime of ours that their owner is wild.
yeah, the
Um,
McCaskey
it came
family,
out.
yeah.
It came out this week that apparently Harbaugh wanted to go there, Jim,
And they didn't have any interest in
and
it.
yeah, and he
And
was like, "Nah, I don't want to interview him." And it's like, I'm sorry, what?
yeah, Harbaugh.
Like,
Big
yeah,
Cat says that all the time, where he says that after Mike Ditka, the Bears will never, ever, ever hire another alpha dog again. They'll never hire somebody whose name is bigger than the Chicago Bears, and that's why you keep getting these fucking nobody, Matt Nagy, Matt
right,
Eberflus. Like you're getting no one coaches that people haven't heard of, or that they're pulling up from teams that had okay offenses or okay defenses. And they're like, this is the perfect pick for masterminds. And it really, he's like, I feel like they just don't like football. He was like, I feel like this is just a business to them, where as long as the numbers are green, they don't care. Like,
right.
and again, it kind of plays into that. We're like, it actually might be like they not give a fuck about being good or winning Super Bowls. Like that's not fun for them. Like they just need a profit so they can do their fun shit in life. Like which is
You
just so
know,
crazy to think about. Like
you know
that's
how
so
earlier
wild.
we talked about the NFL guys just coming to get a paycheck.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. That's
Guess
what I
what?
mean.
There's
Like
got to be owners like that too,
there's
right?
got to be owners like that they're just like, I inherited this fucking stupid sports ball thing from dad. Like they're like they hate it. Like and they're just like, I'm just getting a check. Like
Yeah,
the check has lots of zeros and lots of commas, but like it's crazy to think. That was actually weird that I heard. So Al Davis has sold the team
yeah.
because he can't afford the inheritance tax. He himself doesn't have the kind of money to do that. He would have to take a loan out from
Right.
the assets of the team. So
Yeah.
he's selling 49% of the team to just make the money back to pay the inheritance tax because he inherited it from his mom. So he gets it all from his mom. Has never paid the inheritance taxes, deferred it, or done whatever legal
Right.
standpoints or whatever that I don't
Sure.
understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, that's crazy. I was like, he hit a point where he's like, this is gonna be due soon. I gotta portion out some of this, and like he knows he's gonna die, so like it makes sense
Yeah.
anyway. Like yeah, I was like, that's actually really brilliant. Like that's really smart.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so
These guys didn't get there by being dumb.
no, hell no. That's some of them
So-
did, but some of them did not. Some
Right.
of them got there just by being a child, but some of them, yeah, you're absolutely
Right.
right. They're not there because they're dumb. But
All right. So, do you call this the game of the week?
yeah, probably. But real quick, hilarious note: did you see the Twitter thread about the free agent auction bid
No.
with the 49ers?
For their running back?
Yes,
Yeah.
Garendo or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
There was a guy in a league who they were like, we've had problems with this guy. We decided that we were going to kick him because he's been inactive all year. We let him know that we were kicking him and he's not welcome back next year. He pops in after a few weeks of inactivity, spends his whole $100 free agent auction bid on Garendo, and then just quit. So it's on his team, and he just said, I'm not playing anymore. And Garendo's just stuck on his team. So he was like, this dude just did the ultimate fucking troll move in our league. Like, the commissioner kicked him and was being a dick about it.
Yeah.
And he just decided to spend his whole auction and said, all right, watch this. I'm number one on the waiver. Boom. Like, it's fucking style. I was like, that's hilarious. I was like, that's actually really fucking funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that, but yeah, so like you said, game of the week, Bills at Rams. Yeah, that was a crazy game.
It was. It
The
was fun to
Rams, like,
watch.
we always say like the Rams are for real. They just like started off rough and didn't have like
They had a bunch of injuries.
injuries.
And,
Like yeah, it just was a tough start. And there was like, there's no way they're gonna pull this back and get it together. But
Yeah.
I think we did talk about it in our last episode about the Rams. We looked ahead at their schedule, and I feel like I remember talking about this when we were like, yeah, but they'd have to beat the Bills and then like one or two of these games, but like they
Yeah.
did it. So like.
Yeah.
Now, like they're out of space, and we were talking about earlier. We're like that division, like the Seahawks, if they're not for real and they lose a game or two, the Rams could win their division, which is so
Right.
crazy. Like they were 2-5, I think, and they was just like, there's no fucking way they're gonna come back.
1-4. The Rams were.
Oh yeah, 1-4,
Yeah.
1-4. Then they started winning some games, but
Yeah.
yeah, 1-4, and you were just like, there's no way. But then yeah, a little 3-game win streak, and then a couple more wins here, and
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, basically, if they
It's
win
not
the Cardinals
unrealistic.
game, yeah, 49ers and Jets. 49ers, I mean, they have their whole division left, though.
Right.
49ers, Cardinals,
A game for
Seahawks,
each
so.
division. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
and those are no, like, just because they're division games, they're no
Makes
gimmies.
it harder.
Yeah.
Makes it harder. Way harder. Way
Yeah.
harder. Doesn't matter how bad they are. Yep.
But,
At Jets
yeah.
better be a dub. But.
As much as I hate to say it, Josh Allen pretty much confirmed his MVP today.
Unless Saquon sniffs that rushing record. I think that
Not a
if he
chance.
gets close to that, because, well, the Bills have their division locked up. They probably will be, like, theirs, I think, will be a little more
Sure, he's sitting.
sitting. That's what I
Right.
double check. But
Okay,
I
but
think if
here's-
Saquon gets close.
Here's the problem. One, he's quarterback. And two, if you take Josh Allen off of the Bills, how many games do they win this season?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You take Saquon off of the Eagles still probably win 80% of the games that they played in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's a solid point. Yeah, when you're talking
It's-
like
when you talk about-
who can you benefit to loss the most, like,
Right.
Yeah, that's Josh
It-
Allen. The Bills
and-
would be dog
and he's a
shit with
quarterback.
backup quarterback.
yeah,
Even with a mediocre quarterback, if they had Kirk Cousins, like they'd be 6-8 right now. Like they would
Right.
not be 10-3. Like,
Yeah.
they need a Josh Allen to pull that team
Right,
up.
to play
Like, they pulled in
Superman.
Amari Cooper, literally, yeah. Josh Allen is a freak too.
Yeah.
I'll never forget a few years ago, me and Preston were sitting at like Thanksgiving or Christmas. We had a full Josh Allen conversation. Like I just was like, yeah, no, I was like, I'll give you like a hot take right now. I was like, I just don't ever think he'll win a Super Bowl. And like I remember saying it, and every year that they get good, I'm like, fuck. I remember telling him too. I was
Yeah.
like, I said he just reminds me of Carson Wentz. He's just this big body dude that's mobile, that can throw the ball really hard. He's hella accurate. He's a hell of a player, but like is just never gonna get it done. And then so far so good, but yeah, I'm nervous.
yeah. He does this every year though, so
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's, yeah.
it's
He
staying
wanted to prove you
healthy
wrong
and
specifically
winning in the
and go an
playoffs.
extra month, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna last past Christmas. Essentially into the playoffs. So
Yeah. So that wraps up the 4 o'clock games. We're
Yeah.
still in the Sunday night game.
Yep.
Chargers are at the
Sit and watch the rest
Chiefs.
of
They're
it
at a
too.
commercial right now,
I think it's
but
16-14 right now.
14. Yeah,
The
they just
Chargers
kicked the
have
field
taken the
goal.
lead 14-13, and then we got 13 minutes to go. 16-14 Chiefs. Chiefs have a safety kicking off for them
Yeah,
because Harrison is on the IR, and then the other two kickers are dog shit.
yeah.
Oop, something fell.
I don't know. This is look. If you said how's Harbaugh gonna win the game, this is it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Low scoring, tight
Just keep
affair.
him down. Just keep it close. Keep
Yeah,
it close. Each little drive is a win, and that's what he's telling the guys too. Is hey, they're
right.
a hell of a football team. They're a hell of a football team. We're keeping them
Yeah,
down. We're keeping them down. They're a hell of a football team. We're keeping them. Like, and that you're hyping the guys up. To
yeah.
be
And
like,
look,
damn, are we in this? Are we in this?
look. They came out in the second half and put up 2 touchdowns. Like, what more do you want? Or sorry, a touchdown. But they've
Yeah.
driven the field twice, so
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's
like,
Herbert's driving, and he took that
yeah.
hit earlier, and he's
When
back
they,
out there. So.
it's amazing what happens when your wide receiver catches passes as he takes a
Facts.
sack. So yeah, we'll probably come back to this game in a few minutes. But wrap up here with Monday night preview. You have the Bengals traveling to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. I appreciate your note here. I'll let you take that
Yeah,
because
I
it
am
couldn't
such a
be
big.
closer to the truth.
Yeah, I'm such a big fan of those. I remember when it came out, and I literally even posted on Facebook where I was like, obviously, I'm not talking to millions of people, but literally every single person that clicks on this and keeps it live is helping them know that they should do this more. Please open
Yeah.
this feed. If you're a parent, fucking open this. They did it with the Toy Story.
Toy Story, yeah.
And then the SpongeBob one. So they've
Yeah.
done 2 so far, where like Nickelodeon and the Toy Story one, where they did the playovers of the games and like the characters are moving and the commentators were slinky and shit. Like it was awesome. Like
Yeah.
it was even way better than I thought it was gonna be. I remember the SpongeBob one was like a little dull and like shit kept glitching and like Patrick wasn't talking. Like it was weird. And then they did that Toy Story one. It was really good. Like the
Yeah.
Toy Story one, like they were showing Andy's room and it's floating around to the dresser to show stats and stuff. And I was like, this is awesome. Like I just remember
Right.
the boys being like pretty locked in, and I was like, if they could just do this like 2 or 3 times a year, like that's how they focus on the kids. Like they get like a cover on it to where they appreciate it, and then just slowly start to pull that stuff back where they just watch the game with their parents. Like, I was
Yeah.
like that's a good way to get kids involved. But yeah, I saw the Simpsons one, and I was like, that's awesome. Who's gonna compete? Bengals, Cowboys. I was like, what the hell are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
and then I realized I was like, oh, this is what they're doing for the adults. They said, well, maybe if we take a shit game and put a little cosmetics on it, the adults will want to watch. And they got me. I'm gonna want to watch because it's a Simpsons layover. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna let the boys stay awake and watch that tomorrow, just because it's gonna be fun to see, and they'll find it exciting because it's just
It
something
will.
different.
Yeah, something different, which is cool. I'm here for it. I love The Simpsons. Always
Yeah,
have.
facts. Yeah. Okay.
So I still, to this day, I will die on this hill. If there's a game that needs remade, it is The Simpsons Hit and Run.
Hit and run, dude. Hit and run. We
Greatest
used to
game of
play
all time.
The fuck out of that game, dude. I can hear the sounds in my head driving that fucking Cadillac around, the fucking hitting stuff. Like, yeah, I can hear like a poo and stuff. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so fun. Yeah, dude, that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bust that out for the boys too. We've been playing lots of games lately, and they're getting pretty good. Like, they
Yeah.
are like, yeah, like. Joe's been playing Pokemon on the 3DS and has like picked it up pretty quickly and is like learning stuff, and it's like, oh, I leveled up. What level do I need to get this one? Like quickly is learning things I'm telling him, and like what stone does this need to level? Like is like picking up things I just say once. And Mac, every time we split to do stuff, I'm like, oh, you have some free time. Mac's like, can I play Xbox? And he plays Spyro, and he's like starting to get it,
Ooh,
and then
great
like,
game.
starting to figure out like, okay, if I light this, it shoots the cannon up there and it hits that thing, and then that opens the door. Like it's just like the problem solving
Yeah.
of it, where I'm watching him figure it out, and it's so cool to see. So I'm like, dude, it's like we can start playing games together. Like I told Kaylee the other day, we were looking at Christmas stuff, and she's like, what else could they possibly need for Xbox? She was like, I don't want to get carried away. Or like, what would they need? And I was like, we can design them basic controllers, and we might want to get them headsets. And she was like, who are they talking to? And I was like, AJ, Derek, me at my desk. And she was like, you can't just talk to them around the wall. I was like, that's not how that works. I was like, I gotta talk to them through the headset. I was like, they're in the living room, I'm in the. I was like, no. I was like, I can't be yelling back things. I was like, you gotta be on a headset so you can hear the right thing. And so she was like, oh my god, this is starting already. I was like, oh my god, I love it. I was like, this is so great.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the best. I was like, I'm so excited. So yeah,
That's
Xbox
awesome.
season is live for them. Yeah, and I think I'm going to introduce them to some Madden and 2K and stuff here soon. That's basically what I was talking about with the
Okay.
Simpsons thing. Getting
Yeah.
him into sports. I think if I let him see some Madden soon, because I was about the age I started. I was probably 5 or 6 when my dad handed me a Madden controller, and I just was like, this is the dopest shit ever.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Anyway, so all right, yeah, finish watching this game. Give us a fun fact.
Yeah. Fun fact.
if you
Okay, here's a fun one. Oxford University is older than the Aztec civilization.
You're gonna be so upset. You're gonna be so upset.
Uh-oh. Did I get a wrong fact?
No, I didn't know I didn't know the. I thought Oxford University was in America.
Oh my
100%.
god.
100%. As soon as you said Oxford, I was like, "Did you guys know that I didn't know that Bucknell was in Pennsylvania?" Like that was the first thing that. Wait, hold on. I also today learned that Baylor University is in Texas because they're green. I assumed that they were somewhere near Oregon. I assumed that Baylor was a Northwest state. I thought that Baylor was just near Oregon somewhere and was just like, oh, they're up there. They play with trees on the court, like they're up in Northwest in the mountains in the rain and all that shit. Someone said Baylor, Texas, and I was like Baylor or like a different Baylor? I was like, are we talking like Paris, Tennessee, or are we talking like a legit like Baylor, like the Baylor Bears? And yes, I looked it up, and did you know Baylor is a Texas Christian University? Yeah, I didn't know that. I did not know that. See, I'm new to the college game. I don't really pay attention to all that. And and they're also in Waco, which is crazy. But yes, I typed in Oxford University, and it says in England, and I was like, what the fuck? It's in England? And I was like, I did not know that. To be fair, I don't think I could tell you what the Oxford University is famous for, or what it's about, or why it's there. Obviously, it's an old-ass school.
That's pretty much what it's famous for.
It's just like the original college. It's just like the first college.
I don't think it's actually the first, but
they
it
probably
is
had things
one
that
of
essentially
the oldest.
were college that weren't documented like this or whatever.
Yeah.
This is probably the first like legitimate. It's hilarious that there's Google reviews because it's like, well, it was created in year 1000, so the reviews go back that long. Like,
yeah,
can we get really old reviews like backdated on Google to show us?
Oldest university is, sorry, Italians. I'm gonna say Bologna, but it's not.
As you said it, I realize how wrong that is now. Bologna.
Yeah, 1088 is the oldest according to Google's research.com.
That's only 8 years older than Oxford, so.
Although the AI on Google tells me that it's the University of Al Qaryaan in Fez, Morocco, which is 859 AD.
Interesting. So. We had the little tidbit for University of Oxford does say it's the second oldest university in continuous operations. Maybe that one is in continuous operation. So
yeah.
But all right, cool. That's a good one. I love these because I'm actually learning things. I learned more from you and fun facts at the end of our podcast that no one listens to than I do from fucking Cumberland Valley High School's geography. Okay, I didn't show up.
You cannot blame that on the school.
I didn't show up. They didn't make it exciting enough to learn. Okay, I mean, I wasn't going to show up regardless. Yeah, that's all right. But I had Call of Duty to play. I was trying to prestige, so I got shit to do.
Fair enough.
All right.
Alrighty, guys. Have a great week.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. We're rolling in. We'll catch you Wednesday morning.
We will be there. See you guys later.